Oh my god, Becky. Look at her butt. It is so flat. I don't know why I just said that. I just kept saying that song over the weekend and I thought it was funny just to add that. But I'm feeling quite comfy today. I like this sweater. Oh, I can make air angels. Air angels. Yeah. It's Monday. It's Halloween. There's no such thing as acting normal. But other than that, if you didn't watch my first video about why people pleasers neglect themselves, go watch that video before you watch this one, because you have to understand the tendencies, the dynamics, and the roots of why you are a people pleaser, or why is it that people you care about are people pleasers, and so they can understand how to stop being that. And this is part 2 on how to set boundaries as a people pleaser. And this isn't something you probably never heard before, what I'm about to share with you in today's video, because on today's video, we're going to go over not only how to set boundaries as understanding why you are a people pleaser, but understand the importance of your own self-empowerment and the sacredness of the energy that you hold. What is Gooch, you beautiful beings? Welcome back on another episode on Embracing Essential Series with your homegirl, Brittany Fontanez. Stay hydrated, my friends. Stay hydrated. But on this channel, I speak about spiritual development, emotional awareness, and I do guided readings for each zodiac sign. And I talk about things I feel to be talked about because it's our divine right to know more than what we have been told. Now that I look at my board, it is so fucking dull. Green and black, Brittany? Really? You could have been more colorful? My personality is already colorful enough. Other than that, I'm hoping you guys are having a blissful day. I know it is Halloween by the time you watch this. It's not going to be Halloween anywhere. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed your Halloween. But let's get into how to set boundaries as a people pleaser. Now, before we start this video, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification button so you'll be notified about videos like this that assist you on your spiritual development and your mental and emotional health. Other than that, beautiful beings, let's get right into this because I'm excited to share with you 4 ways of how to set boundaries as a people pleaser. Now, I hate that I have to say people pleasers because that is a belief that you can identify yourself with, but we have to be honest about how we act and portray ourselves in the world. And majority of us are people pleasers. I started to realize a lot of people on the spiritual journey have a tendency to be people pleasers because they know what it feels like not to be loved. And being a people pleaser and making ourselves programmed and to believe that we have a tendency to find it hard to set boundaries. And here's the thing, sometimes it doesn't feel good to set boundaries as a people pleaser because you know what it feels like to be rejected and to be neglected. So, like I said here, it's not fun setting boundaries because we conditioned ourselves to believe that we are a people pleaser. And majority, if you haven't watched the video about why you neglect yourself as why people pleasers neglect themselves, what I say in that video, highly suggest just go watch that. What I say is that we become parent pleasers before we become people pleasers. So meaning that we know what it feels like not to be listened, not to be heard, not to be seen. So therefore we grow up with the mentality of not wanting anyone to feel like that. But the thing is, when we do this, we end up creating an internal chaos within ourselves, trying to keep the peace because we allow people's inner chaos to create inner war within ourselves. And therefore, this is why a lot of people pleasers end up feeling drained or end up feeling like they're not worthy of what they want. It's not because you're not worthy, and it's not because, you keep attracting these type of people because you're a bad person. It's because you lack boundaries, and we have to take accountability for how we allow ourselves to be treated in this world. It wasn't your fault that you were treated the way you were when you were a child, but it is your fault if you continue to allow yourself to receive that self-punishment or that suffering of believing that you only have to experience pain and you can't experience what you want. So now that we know, it doesn't feel good to set boundaries. It really doesn't. But going throughout my healing journey and recognizing how I've allowed myself to be treated and how I inflicted that pain onto other people, because when you don't do the inner work to heal yourself, you inflict that pain onto other people because you resent the pain that you went through, so therefore you suppress it. But little do you know, what you suppress, you become. And what you suppress, it actually repels and it creates things in your life that you do not want and repels things that you do want in your life. It's a weird thing of how quantum physics works, but that's how paradoxical and intelligent the universe is. Now let's get into the first boundary you have to set as a people pleaser. And boy, did I find so much love in this very one word: understanding myself, and how to empower myself, but also how to recognize what I've been tolerating. And that is the word no. Oh my God, that word has been very orgasmic to me because I lived my life. I'm 27 years old and I'm not where I want to be. And I really thought about, wow, the reason why I'm not where I want to be is because I neglected myself for others all the fucking time. Even when I did want to focus on myself and I did focus on myself, I got distracted because I lacked boundaries. But the more I started to recognize what I wanted and started to honor that, even if it felt uncomfortable, the more I started to fall in love with this word, and that is no. Now, people pleasers, please understand, the reason why the word no is so fucking powerful is because it's a word that gives us empowerment. When you say no to what you don't want to do or what doesn't feel right to you, it shows people how you respect yourself. If you're a people pleaser and you're always giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, people see you as someone who doesn't respect themselves or who doesn't have anything going on with their lives. Hence why they always have to be intertwined or entangled with other people. So saying no to a commitment, saying no to someone you love, saying no, period, is a way of showing respect for thyself. Now, here's the thing I want to explain to you guys. The reason why I could feel uncomfortable saying no is because we believe that we always have to be there for other people. And we believe that other people don't have other people to go to. But the thing is, it's not your responsibility to always be there for other people. If you feel drained, why the hell are you going to try to fill up another person's cup when your cup is empty? You know what I mean? You're just putting air into air, boo-boo. Like, come on, look on. No one's going to be able to drink. We're going to stay parched. You know, be fair. Be fair to thyself. Because a lot of us have a tendency to believe that we do not matter, but we do. Hence why we exist, just like everyone else. So, the way to set this boundary, say, like, for example, for me, I used to work at this job and there was this kid that didn't drive at all, but he would judge people on their shitty cars. And I always tell him, well, at least they can drive. And so I remember he will always ask me, can you give me a ride? 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 And I remember one time he said he was going to give me gas money and he didn't. He just ran out my car when I dropped him off. So afterwards, when he kept asking me for a ride, I ended up learning how to say no. And it was very uncomfortable. But the thing is, what I recognize is that when I say yes to things I don't want to do, I end up resenting myself at the end of the day and being angry with myself. And that is a form of self-punishment that we do not deserve. So saying no is actually a healthy way of reserving your energy to rejuvenate yourself and teaching someone how to take responsibility for themselves. So that's powerful right there. Now, the second boundary I want to talk about is say what you feel, man. That's the thing a lot of people pleasers lack doing, is that they lack speaking up for themselves. This took me a long time to do. I didn't start speaking up for myself until I was 21, and I'm 27, you guys. It took me a long time to find strength and integrity of not giving a fuck of what people think about when I speak how I feel. But as I wrote here, be very, very mindful how you speak and your tonality, because I learned this the hard way. We think that majority of the times when we're speaking through emotions, but we're really speaking through logic. And here's the thing, the ego has a tendency to twist anything. So it's very important that you take a step back and go within your heart. How do you feel, rather than think about the situation? Because your feelings are where you're really speaking your truth, while your logical mind is only speaking through anger and speaking through fear and speaking through frustration. So it's very important to be very, very mindful of how and making sure that you're speaking through your feelings and not speaking through your thoughts, because the ego could have a tendency to spark. But if you take a step back and you feel into your body and you be like, wow, this doesn't feel good, this doesn't make me feel comfortable, I feel like I'm being bullied, I feel like I'm being a victim, I feel like I'm not being heard, so you know what, I'm gonna be mindful and really express how I feel. Ever since I started to do that, not only I realized how fucking intelligent I am with my words, but I could literally shut down the situation to make someone think about how they're treating other people. And that has been such an empowerment for me, because I realized that regardless of how others people perceive of me, that all that matters is that I'm speaking up for myself. And nothing feels better than making sure that you are heard. Listen, closed mouths cannot get fed, you guys. So we have to speak on how we feel, you know? And that's one thing I'm very, very grateful that I had the courage to do this, because I realize a lot of women in my family lack doing this. And this is why a lot of women in my family, you know, tolerate bullshit. But me, you know, my family always thinks, why are you still single? Why are you still that? Because I don't tolerate a lot of bullshit, bro. I just fucking don't. I'm tired of tolerating people who think they have the right to disrespect me and thinking that they have the right to my respect. No, boo-boo. If I'm going to speak up for myself and you don't like it, that's a personal issue. And that's what we have to recognize as people pleasers, is that how we feel matters and it deserves to be heard and listened to. And if people do not like it, not only is it a personal issue, but here's the thing that's going to help you when you start speaking up for yourself and speaking how you feel. You will recognize who really has your back. You will recognize who really cares for you. Because I'm a huge believer that someone really loves me if they're willing to speak the truth about me. Call me on my bullshit, but see the best within me. Plain and fucking simple. I have a friend who does that all the time, and I fucking love her for that. I was like, damn, I need this shit in my life. I need it in my life. So that's the second boundary. Say what you fucking feel, because it matters. And don't worry about how people perceive of you, because if they perceive you as like you're the villain or the bad person, they never really cared about you. They were just using you. Just saying. All right. Now, the third boundary. The third boundary to set as a people pleaser. This is a big one, you guys. This is a big one because it requires self-accountability. And this one is, what are your morals and values? A lot of people pleasers live life going with the flow of the emotions of life. And this is why they get trampled on, or they get manipulated, or they get used, or they get bullied, or they get made fun of. It's because they don't have morals or values. Why is that important? It's important to have morals and values in order to set boundaries as a people pleaser, because you are having integrity and honoring certain things that you are not willing to tolerate, but are willing to accept. Like, for example, what I just said, you know, my moral is I'm a huge believer and that if someone really loves me, is they're willing to tell the truth about me. So I go out into the world and I do that shit. If I feel like someone's talking down about themselves, I'm going to show them a way to uplift themselves. If I feel like someone is coming at me and projecting their bullshit onto me, I'm going to call them out on their fucking bullshit. Because there's no right for me to feel like I need to be disrespected because someone else doesn't have respect for themselves, so therefore they're projecting their pain onto another. Fuck that. No. And another value that I have, this is a big one that a lot of people don't respect me for, but I don't care because I feel good when I do it. And that's all that matters, is making sure that I make myself a priority. And that is, I don't believe in niceness. I believe in kindness. Because niceness is neglecting yourself for other people and pleasing them while you are neglecting how you feel. But kindness is that I will respect you once I first meet you. But if I feel that I'm not getting that in return, you don't deserve any more of my respect. Plain and fucking simple. That's one of my values and morals. But the reason why I say it takes self-accountability, it takes you swallowing the hard pill of recognizing how you've been allowing yourself to be treated. See, you can't be a victim towards a circumstance that you have created for yourself. It's like that saying, it wasn't your fault that you were born poor, but it will be your fault if you die poor. So it's important to understand that you have to recognize that even though you were born to believe, no, you were not born. You created yourself to believe that you have to be a people pleaser, and therefore you don't deserve the same grace that you give to other people. It's important to recognize that you made yourself a victim towards that circumstance because you created that mentality through self-defense mechanisms as a child to survive your environment. But it's very important to recognize as you get older and you start realizing you're not receiving what you want, you have to take accountability for that, because the narrative always comes down to you and back to thyself. So you have to take accountability and recognize what are your morals and values that you are living by. And when you start recognizing, the reason why I keep getting these type of relationships, meaning like for me, I keep getting people who put me in third parties or who cheat on me or who really disrespect me. And I started to realize, what am I valuing? What am I valuing that I'm looking for in other people? And I started to realize the reason why I value people doing that is because I allow it to continue over and over and over. So my value towards that was thinking that I am not worthy of what I want. So therefore I have to give up myself to give other people what they want. So therefore I'm not getting any reciprocation. I started to realize I created identity out of that. So that was my underlining subconscious value. And now that I recognize that, I switched that up to recognizing that I will take my time and learning people, and I will make sure people have no choice to take their time to learn me. So therefore they ain't gonna get no sex from me, they ain't gonna get no gifts from me, they ain't gonna get nothing from me. I'm the type of person, I don't kiss on the first or second date. That is my value now, because it teaches people how to recognize who I am, and they have to respect that before they get anything in return from me. So amazing, raising my standards, boo-boo. So that's the third way to set boundaries. What are your morals and values? What are you allowing in relationships, in connections, in people, in your life? And therefore, if you don't like what you've been tolerating, then it's up for you to change that. But remember, like I said, you can't be a victim towards your circumstance and want abundance and want more. You have to take accountability in order to change and receive what it is you desire. All right, last but not least, you guys. Oh, this one's a big one. This was a big one. This one's going to change a lot of people's minds on this. How to set boundaries as a people pleaser. The fourth and final boundary is, I just got to be real with y'all. Stop acting like you don't fucking matter. You know, own your light and own your ego. Here's the thing, you guys. You know why a lot of people worship celebrities? Is because they honor their higher aspect and they honor their lower aspect. What I mean by this is that they honor their light and they honor their shadow. Is because they're willing to go out there and recognize the power that they motherfucking hold within themselves. But they also recognize how they are not better than other people. You see how this twist goes? So why is this important? How is this a boundary? It's a boundary because you're recognizing what you bring to the table and what you bring to the world and the energy that you hold that will never be duplicated. But you also do recognize, it's like for instance, I started to recognize on my journey that I used to compare myself to a lot of people. I literally would think like, oh, I need that, I need this. If I had that, I would be great. But then I really had to take a step back and honor my light and realize like, yo, my thumbnails on YouTube are fucking bomb. I never seen awesome thumbnails the way that I've made my thumbnails. I started to realize how my words have power. I started to realize how my stance and my posture really makes heads turn. I started to recognize my light. But the thing is, when we are too much in our light, we act like we have to be humble, and that's how we neglect ourselves. But this is why it's important that I start to recognize my ego, is that there are things about me that can never be duplicated. There are things about me people can't see, like can't harness. I have a lot of people say, wow, I always wonder what your day is like. I always wonder what you do. I'm always wondering about this and that about you. And I'm like, I started to realize if people want to put themselves in my shoes, they're going to have to handle my problems. And that's how I started to realize that too. So I started to honor the fact that I have a loving heart that my love is very rare. But I started to honor the fact that, yo, not a lot of people are deserving and worthy of that shit. So I gotta stop acting like I don't fucking matter. So when I go out, I make sure I speak my mind. When I listen to people and I feel like I'm being talked down to, I make sure I lift myself up and let them know who the fuck I is, you know? But I also do recognize that what makes us powerful as people pleasers is that we could take a step back and listen, but also we could stand up and speak. And that's a boundary you have to recognize, is that don't always hold yourself back. Let yourself be seen and be fucking known. But make sure you know how to take a step back so you can still be a student, not just a teacher. So, you guys, the reason why I share all this, because us people pleasers hold a power of love that is so rare to this world. But it's not meant to be given freely. It's meant to be honored and withheld with sacredness so people can earn that. And I know it may sound so like self-righteous, but the thing is, you wake up with you, you go to bed with you, you feed you, you clothe you, you are the only one with you. If you are not happy with who you are, and yet you are trying to seek that happiness outside of you, you will never see the beauty of why the universe created you. And it's so important. Oh my God, I hate this glare. It's so important that you do recognize the sacredness that you hold. Because like I said, it will never be duplicated. But you'll be surprised at how many people will look up to you. How many people will be inspired by you. You will be so shocked at the potential that you hold within you that was so hidden and so suppressed because you don't believe in yourself. This is teaching you how to trust in yourself. That's all it is, you guys. This is teaching you how to trust in yourself, because when you learn how to trust in yourself, you will know how to take those lessons from those experiences that have hurt you and to be able to turn them into wisdom to be a better version of you so you can finally receive what the fuck you deserve. And it took me a long time to give myself permission to be okay with the vision of being like, yo, I deserve this, and allowing it to come into my life. So you guys, that's all I wanted to share with you. It's 4 ways on how to set boundaries as a people pleaser. If you guys really enjoyed this video and you feel like you want me to add more to it to assist you on your journey, you know, let me know in the comment section below. Like I would love some suggestions for my videos on YouTube. So other than that, you guys, if you really enjoyed this video, if it really assisted you in any way, please hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button, but also share with other people you feel may need to hear this. And doing all of this, and especially hitting that notification button, literally helps the YouTube algorithm get this video out to other people who need it, because we're here to empower one another, because together we rise. So other than that, you guys, I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Only love.